Understanding Mother Stories podcast with Adeline Dubreuil. Your 10 minutes to talk about mothering and matrescence. Hello Mama! What a very special episode today to talk about how we can use a special project that is meant to help others, that is meant to be used for the greater good, also for pushing some of our own goals. And I will be giving you an example of what can be done and what I will be doing this spring towards this. Before that, I just wanted to let you know that this episode is a special episode that is a part of the Podcasthon. It's a very special initiative that brings hundreds and hundreds of podcasters like me to make an episode where we talk about a charity we support. So if you want to get into knowing more about charities to support, I will leave the link in the notes for you to go and look through the Podcasthon episodes. So today I want to talk about the association that I am supporting this spring, and for this cause I will be pushing some of my own limits. So you might not know this about me, but I do live with asthma, which is a respiratory illness that appeared around the time I was 8 years old. And as a child from the 80s, I was told not to do activities that would trigger asthma attacks. So in school, I wouldn't do endurance, high cardio, or anything like that. And while I understand that at that point, that's what the doctors knew about it, but it was kind of isolating. I was the girl who could not do stuff like the other kids in school or in phys ed or anything. So I am very grateful to know now that it wasn't true, and that with asthma triggered by cardio, we should actually progressively and in a smart way train to manage our asthma. So what makes it possible for me is to always go slow and have steady progress. And if I want to get to a specific cardio goal, I know what is not good for my lungs, what hurts, and how I should approach it. So, of course, taking my medication is a big part of managing endurance as well. But since I have lived with it since I was 8, I have learned a lot. And funny enough, I learned the most of how to take care of my asthma in my late 30s and now in my early 40s. So you might be thinking, what the heck is she talking about? I thought we were talking about charity. Is it a charity about asthma? No, not even. The association I will be supporting this spring is called Million Reasons Run. So, as you guess, I will be running during the month of May, and I will fundraise for Million Reasons Run, and they gather money for children's hospitals all over Canada. So, since I live in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and I have given birth myself at this same hospital, and I had many students with issues who were cared for there, I will support the IWK hospital here in Halifax and their special research. And I know that they work a lot on cancer research for children especially. So many people will be running this May to fundraise for their local children's hospital in each province in Canada. This is why I was talking about my asthma, because starting to run and learn how to understand your body and manage a chronic disease as an adult is not the easiest thing to do. But it does feel good when I try to know myself better, push myself a little. It makes me go outside. It makes me have a better control over my aging mom body. And while I do this, I will be fundraising for my city's children's hospital. So it feels like the right project for me for this spring. If you want to support our efforts with Million Reasons Run, I will leave you the link to the fundraising page. For now, I have it set for myself at $1,000 and 60 kilometers. But my goal is actually to run 100 kilometers during the 31 days of the month of May. So I hope you will follow me and encourage me, because I know I will need it. I am already training for it, starting with baby steps again, like I did in the past, in order to prepare my body and my mind to run more than I ever did before. I know that for some, it seems like nothing. And I know people who run marathons and half marathons, and it is their goal and their body and their limits they're working with. And I am going to work with mine. So if you want to be a part of this fundraising effort for the IWK, go click and donate to the cause. And maybe you want to run as well. If you're local to me, you can be a part of my team, I believe. We can fundraise together, or you can create your own, whatever feels good to you. And I also want to thank Podcasthon for pushing us to talk about charities and fundraisers and great causes that are out there. I was not even going to mention my fundraising effort in the podcast, and this was a great idea because now we can all be in this and work for the greater good together and work for the children and help them feel better. And maybe, we can dream, find cure for some of those diseases for children. Now, don't forget, Mama, there are many ways for us to be pushing our limits. The goal is never to take away from your family or your own well-being. But I just want to use this opportunity to encourage you to think about a charity or a cause you would like to work towards. And you know what? Our children, they're watching us. So they watch us when we do something for charity work. We model it for them. So maybe it's something that we can come together as a family, as a community, to do great things together. Until next time, Mama. Thank you, Mama, for listening to this episode of Understanding Mother Stories podcast. You can find us on Instagram at omamaworld or on our website www.omama.ca.